And let me get the screen share. All right, I'm going to put up the agenda. There we go. All right, so Erwin, do you want to start by calling the roll, please?
Sure. Okay, good evening. Happy New Year, everyone. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Just calling the attendance for members of the Central Committee. Mumin Bar,
Here.
Juan Cardenas,
Here.
Aileen Charcuti Rogers,
Here.
Harold Diamond. Harold?
Sam.
Okay, I'm recording Harold is absent. Arthur Edmonds,
Here.
Linda Foley,
Here.
Scott Goldberg. Scott?
I saw Scott.
I-
There he is.
Scott's here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Folks, just let the person answer. I don't need, Scott?
He's on mute. That's why I'm answering.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I unmuted myself. I said here. I'm muting myself.
Marjorie Goldman,
Here.
Mimi Hassanin,
In the house.
Laura Henderson,
Here.
Jennifer Guzman Hosey,
Here.
Samantha Jones. Samantha? I'm recording Samantha as absent. Susie Kaplan,
Here.
Aaron Kaufman,
Here.
Daniel Karoma. Daniel? Okay, recording Daniel is absent. Dave Coons.
He's just coming in.
Dave told us he's not going to be here, and he's gave Scott Goldberg his proxy vote for tonight.
He just entered the room.
Who did?
Dave Coons.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Dave?
Hi.
Hey. Dave Coons is present. Matthew Lee.
Happy New Year.
Pam Luckett.
Present.
Marie Mapes.
Present.
Jasmine Morel resigned effectively the day she submitted her resignation letter, so she's no longer a member. Lori Rodich.
Here. Here.
Okay, thank you. I got Lori. Greg Wims.
Here and wearing the merchandise from the Biden Hertz.
Excellent. Sarah Woloch.
Here.
Sarah?
Here.
Okay, thank you. So the only absences I have are Harold Diamond, Samantha Jones, Daniel Karoma.
Erwin, Samantha. Yeah, Daniel's here.
Daniel?
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Samantha texted me and said, I'm calling by phone, not through Zoom. So my number will show up in the waiting room as 395-2722. I think I'm muted because Erwin couldn't hear me.
Okay, I'll record
Michael,
her.
how can she unmute herself? I'm not sure I know how to do that.
She should be able to unmute herself. I think it's *6 on her phone. If you can hear that, Sam.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes,
we can.
Cool.
Okay, got you, Samantha. Thank
Awesome,
you.
great, thank you. I am here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so that's who we have. Okay, that's the roll. All right, good. So I'll just ask for unanimous consent that we suspend the in-person attendance requirement for this meeting and move forward like we have since COVID began. Next, I'll move to approval of the agenda. That was the voter hotline. Next, I'll move to approval of the agenda. So the agenda was submitted to you by Assistant Secretary Pam Luckett. And is there, are there any, first I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda. And then if there are any changes, let me know.
Motion
and we
to
can discuss.
approve.
Second,
Okay, moved by Matthew, seconded by Sam.
that was Marjorie.
Oh, sorry, Marjorie, sorry. Are there any changes or additions or corrections to the agenda that anyone wants to make? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of adopting the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposition? Okay. Thank you. Now, we have, as everyone knows, we have a vacancy in District 16, a vacancy for a member who identifies as male.
Linda, I'm sorry to interrupt, but do we have to introduce the guests?
Yeah, we should do that, actually.
Mm.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask the guests to introduce themselves. I'll read out your name, and then if I miss you, you can say that, you know, you can pipe up, okay? So Alan. Alan? All right.
Here.
Yeah.
Alan,
Banoff from Board of
He's
Ed.
muted, but
Well, he was, yeah, but now he wasn't. Joe,
yes, I'm here.
why don't you say your name,
Joe Gebhardt, I'm
right,
here.
as a guest, right?
Mhm.
Dolly,
Gildy, District 17, and
Okay.
liaison to the Board of Elections.
right?
Yay.
Thank you. Faith. Faith?
If they need help with rent or help making mortgage payments.
We can't hear you, Faith.
She's my
Okay,
I think she's away from her desk,
all
and
right.
so we were just hearing background noise.
Okay, let's see, who else? Mark?
Mark Hoffman, District 20.
Thank you. Marilyn?
Mary Lynn Pierre, Montgomery County resident.
Sheldon?
Sheldon Fishman from District 18.
Great. And Vivian? Okay, Vivian? All right, we don't know who Vivian is. Faith, are you with us? You want to introduce yourself, Faith? You want to unmute yourself, Faith, and introduce yourself? Okay. Let's move on to the agenda, back to the agenda. Okay, so as I said, we have a District 16 vacancy for a member who identifies as male to fill tonight. And I just want to give a shout out and be clear, because I didn't hear anything from Vivian, whom we can't see because she has her video off. I just want to make sure. We had two people apply for this position, and I do not see Peter Dunkelberg in the room. He's one of the applicants. I just want to make sure that he's not here. Is that correct? Okay. So I'm assuming that he's not signed on under Vivian's name. Okay. So I will now we have, I guess we just have one one person here who is has applied for the District 16 position, and you know, so Joe Gebhardt is here. You have his resume and his letter of application. So I don't know if we
I move by vote of acclamation for Joe Gebhardt.
Second.
Okay, moved by Moomin, seconded by several. Is there any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Aaron?
Joe has been in the party for decades, and he's done so much. I think he's going to make a wonderful member of the committee.
I concur.
Thank you. Me too.
Yeah.
Madam Chair,
Yes. Who is that?
You do have two applications, so we do have to have a vote.
We do have to have a vote. Okay.
Yeah.
The rules
Even
chair
if one of them's
says,
not here.
yeah, the chairman of the rules committee says we have to have a vote even though he's not here. Thank you, Juan, I think, for that. Okay, so I guess we cannot accept the motion to, electing Joe for acclamation is out of order. So I will ask if it's all right with everyone if we move directly to the vote. Unless there's objection, we'll move directly to the vote. All right, so I think what we need to do, I had laid out a procedure to vote by email, thinking that it was going to be a little more difficult. We can still go with that procedure if you want. Juan, do you think we should still use that procedure or can we just use the chat?
We can use a chat or voice vote, either one, make it easier.
We can use a voice vote.
Well, can we use your just reaction, like a thumbs up or hands?
That's actually a very good idea.
Yeah.
All right, so Erwin,
So, but we want to have a record of how each member voted, correct?
that's right. We have to have a record. All right, so let's do this. Let's vote in the chat, okay? And why don't, Erwin, why don't you call out the member's name and then have them just post in the chat, okay? How's that?
Linda, if it's okay, this is Joe. I'll excuse myself, and when I hear your voice say, come back, Joe.
No, you don't have to. It's fine.
Okay.
There are other
okay.
observers here.
Yes. So there are,
But is there any point in having members vote by chat? If I'm calling each name, why don't we just have them say how they're voting?
is that permissible, Juan?
And I'll record it.
Juan says that's permissible. Okay, that's fine. The two candidates for the District 16 seat are Joe Gebhardt and Peter Dunkelberg. Joe Gebhardt and Peter Dunkelberg. So now I'm going to ask Erwin to take the vote.
How are you going to do that? What are you going to say? Both names and say yay and nay? Or how are you going to?
Just say Peter.
The list I have is in alphabetical order by last name of the members. I'll just say the member's name and you can tell me who you're voting for, okay?
Okay.
And we've confirmed in terms of rules, we don't need anything in writing from each member if I record their voice vote?
Yes.
Okay, Juan says yes.
Okay.
All right.
Is there anything else you want to do before the vote?
Nope. Unless anybody has anything that they would like to say. Okay, let's take, if there's no objection, we'll move to the vote.
Okay, so the candidates are Dunkelberger and Gebhardt. Just when I call the member's name, please just tell me the last name of the person that you're voting for. Barr.
Gebhardt.
Cardenas.
Gebhardt.
Diamond. Harold's absent. Okay. And for the benefit of observers, Aileen Charcutean Rogers is a student member who is a non-voting member. Arthur Edmonds.
Gebhardt.
Foley.
Do me last.
Goldberg.
Gebhardt.
Goldman.
Gebhardt.
Hassanen.
Gebhardt.
Henderson.
Gebhardt.
Guzman Hosey. Jennifer? Yeah, I'm not recording any vote for Jennifer. I'll come back to her because she was present at roll call.
Yeah, and she said her internet was unstable.
Okay, I'll come back to her.
Okay.
Jones.
Gebhardt.
Kaplan.
Joe Gebhardt.
Thank you.
Kaufman.
Gebhardt.
Karoba.
Gebhardt.
Coons.
Big Joe Gebhardt.
Lee.
Joe Gebhardt.
Luckett.
Gebhardt.
Thank you.
Mapes,
Gephardt,
Rodich,
Gephardt.
I vote for Gebhardt.
And,
Wims. No, sorry, two more. Wims,
okay,
Gephardt.
Wallach.
Gephardt.
Okay, I'm gonna go back because I have Harold as absent, but Jennifer Guzman Hosey was here. Jennifer, can you hear me? Can you speak to us?
I don't see her here anymore.
Jennifer, if you're still on and you're having trouble with your microphone, send us a chat. And if that doesn't work, send me a text or email. But for now, I'm just recording no vote for Jennifer. And then Linda Foley.
Gephardt, enthusiastically, Joe Gephardt. You can announce the vote, Erwin.
Yeah, so I have a total of 0 votes for Dunkelberger, 20 votes for Joe Gebhardt.
Yay! All right, so Joe Gephardt is the new member, the newest member of the Central Committee. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you very much. I'm honored and humbled. Thank you.
And so now Joe can participate in the meeting.
I'm going to stay. Yes.
Okay, good. Behave yourself, though. But anyway, thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the agenda. Let's see, because I have to look at it too. Okay. So next, we have the consent agenda. It was sent out to you ahead of time, the minutes of December 8th, plus the attendance report, the precinct organization report, and the rules committee report. If there's a motion, unless anyone who has, unless Erwin or Shruti, I don't see Shruti on the call.
Shruti is here. Shruti said that she's here on Zoom, but she
Okay.
wasn't able to speak when you asked to introduce observers.
Okay.
Or maybe you just missed her when you introduced observers.
Oh, I didn't see her. Okay.
I'm on the call.
Okay, good. Oh, you're on the phone. That's why I didn't see you. Okay. So, Shruti or Juan or Erwin, if you have anything to add to what's is there anything to add to what the report that was sent out? No? Okay.
Nothing for the precinct organization unless you want me to share some detail on the Georgia phone bank.
We'll do that in a minute, okay, after we adopt the consent agenda. I do want you to do that, but let's do it after we adopt this.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for reminding me. Okay. So I will now accept a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
So move,
Moved by
Kaufman.
Aaron, seconded by
Pam.
Pam. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the consent agenda is adopted. I'm now going to ask Shruti reminded me, and I am going to ask her, since we did have the precinct organization report on that list, could you just briefly update us on the Georgia phone bank, Shruti?
Yes, thank you, Linda. So we picked up on the momentum from the 2020 election, the volunteers who had been helping us phone bank, and I reached out to Linda to offer to continue hosting those weekly phone banks, which we did every Sunday starting in December and all the way up to January 3rd. We had a great turnout. Initially, maybe 10 people at some of our calls, but then it picked up, and also people were calling even though they were not staying on the Zoom. So I did mention in my report anywhere between 10 to 25 people at each of the sessions, and people were making calls anywhere between 50 to 150 phone calls. And we coordinated with the Georgia Democrats, and they were very responsive. So some of it was a little bit of training. People signed up for text banking, but then as we were going through the campaign, some of that changed, and they stopped doing text banking and were sending people directly to campaigns to get that information. So we trained a few new volunteers to do phone banking, and it was really good energy. And I think, like I said, we made thousands of phone calls, and I can send the numbers, and I do have the list of volunteers who helped out. But just wanted to share that it was quite a successful effort.
Yes, it was. And most importantly, it got great results, right? Contributed to great results, right? So,
Yes, and we won, yay.
exactly. There was that. That was like 100 years ago, but it was 2 weeks ago, really. So, but anyway, I just want to congratulate Shruti on great work on that. Great work on the phone banks that we did during the, during the general election. Once again, Shruti put in the work and got the results. So congratulations, Shruti. That was really, really good. I was on a number of, just want to say that I was on a number of phone banks for the Georgia race, including the Maryland Democratic Party and, the Women for Biden alumni, and really the phone banks that Shruti ran. I think we can be very proud. I think ours were the best, really. In terms of number of people who showed up and also the efficiency. And, it was really, really good. So thanks, Shruti, for taking that on. That was excellent.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Linda. I did get some very positive feedback from some of the volunteers as well who shared the same thing, that they had a great experience with their phone bank. And on the last, we did a debrief after every single session. And on the last one, several volunteers, in fact, everyone who stayed, it was 22 people who stayed all the way until the end for the debrief, really, really appreciated and appreciated the Democratic Party effort to continue hosting these phone banks. So I did want to pass that along.
Thank you very much. So I think this is something that's worth doing in the election cycles as a supplement to, whatever else is going on. And now that we know how to do it through Zoom and, we're getting much more efficient at the virtual stuff, we probably can do it even better once we get back in person. So thanks again, Shruti, and good work, everyone. Yes.
Linda, I have a quick question for Shruti.
Sure, go ahead.
Data is so important. And I'm just wondering, Shruti, are you willing to share it with the information you have from the phone bankers? Are you willing to share it with Linda and Michael so that they can get on our email list and be in our database? And because a key to party organizing is a robust database. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This is, none of the information is new. These are the same folks we were volunteering, and absolutely we've done that throughout all our phone canvassing with the 2020 elections. When we have new people sign up, and we've shared the list with Michael so he can add it. So certainly I'm going to also look at the names. But when I looked at it in the middle of when we were getting responses, they're all the people who have continued to phone bank with us. But that's an absolute yes.
Yes. So the way we recruited them, Aaron, is we recruited them through our volunteer network and through the newsletter. So
yes,
there is a chance that someone wasn't on there, but the vast majority of people were. But yeah, Shruti does keep that information in the database with Michael, just like we do with all of our information from the voter engagement and everything else. We try to keep funneling that into our database. So, but thank you for reminding us.
And I will also mention on that account that one of the things we did in addition to sending, because this time we didn't do as much of newsletter recruiting as we did for the primary in general. So I did email all the phone banking volunteers who had been helping, which is why I know the people who volunteered were also a lot of momentum from what we did for the general elections here.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, somebody else had a question?
Linda, it was just Laura. I just also wanted to add my thanks, deep thanks and congratulations to Shruti for making such a difference. I think not only did it make a difference in the election of Georgia, the two senators from Georgia, but I think also we're gaining more of a robust reputation for being an exporter of volunteers to battleground states, and people are commenting on how much Montgomery County Democrats have to offer. And obviously Shruti and the whole MCDCC are part of that. So thank you, Shruti, for making that happen. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that.
Very good point, Laura. And, I also, our volunteer engagement sessions also were critical to that as well, right? Getting those volunteers trained up and sending them out and giving them opportunities to volunteer at various places. So we can continue to feel really good about that, right?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's one of the reasons Jasmine will be missed. I'll talk about Jasmine more at the end of the meeting when we get to announcements. But one of the reasons she'll be missed on this central committee is that she, along with Marie and Laura, did such great work on those volunteer engagement sessions. So that made a big difference. Okay, so thank you for that, Shruti. Now I'm going to go back and look at the agenda. Next is the treasurer's report, which we just got this evening. It was circulated to you. I have a copy, Daniel, that I can put up, but you can start. What are you going to start with, Daniel, to talk about?
Well, I mean, I have a unstable connection right now, and so as a result, I wasn't able to pull up the file. So I'm gonna ask Dave, the assistant treasurer, to just go over, this report, and then if anything, I'll take questions after he gives out the report.
Okay, Dave, are you still on?
I am. I'm here.
Okay, can you share your screen by any chance?
Sure.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
just need permission from Michael.
Yeah, give him permission if you don't.
Yep, doing that.
Okay.
Thanks, Michael.
Go ahead.
Now, which screen to share?
Yeah, that's what I have it, but I wasn't sure which one you wanted. Okay,
Getting a lot of trouble.
there you go.
All right, so not a whole lot going on here. Committee's assets are $29,461. It's a gain of $2,000 approximately from last month. Had a small downtick in club funds, about $200. Quarter 4 federal report was submitted December 3rd, reported on that last meeting. The end of year reports are coming up. So the federal report's due in I think 2 weeks. And then the state report, the closeout annual report for the state report is due January 20th. That fundraising cutoff date is today. Not a whole lot of activity, this month post-election, 2 months after the election. So, that's what we have, I think.
Yep. And then there were 2 other documents that Daniel circulated that go with this. But this is the meat of it here, right? So just for those of you, thanks, Dave. So you can, you can leave it up there. Well, it's up to you. We'll see if people ask, right? So for those of you who don't know, Daniel is, unfortunately, fortunately for him, he went to Sierra Leone to visit his family over the Christmas holiday, but unfortunately for us and for him, he now can't get back home because of the variant strain of COVID in the United Kingdom. And he can't fly through Heathrow Airport. So that's why Daniel is has an unstable internet connection, and that's why we're lucky to have him here. It's like 2 a.m. where he is. So Daniel, I'm just going to ask you, is there anything you'd like to add to what Dave presented?
Well, I mean, just wanted to thank Dave. He's really, not only supported us over the years, but also stepped up again when, as I say, I asked him to do this. Long story short, the transition is going well. As Dave said, after the end of year reports, we don't have much in terms of activities that are going to be coming in, except for the inauguration items that you're going to be, that we're selling. So those are minor transactions that we can handle, and then because this is not an election year, so our filing dates are going to be basically towards mid-year, which again, we do have enough time. I just want to apologize for sending the reports late. I'll make sure, again, before we file our next report, everyone has access to that. and give everyone ample time to make any comments that needs to be made. But I just want everyone to please help me thank Dave for his great work with all of us and his great leadership to step up even now to do this while I'm having challenges. So thank you so much, Dave, and thank you, everyone.
Hey, thanks, Daniel, and thank you for stepping up at the last minute to take to take on this treasurer's position. Okay, so I'll take a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
So move, Aaron.
Moved by Aaron. Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Mimi. Any further discussion on the treasurer's report? Let me just add, and I forgot to put this on the agenda actually, but maybe we'll do it now once we adopt this. But Michael put in the chat that we have gross receipts from the inaugural sales as of today of $7,942. That doesn't include what they cost. Okay, so that's gross. But still, we're doing pretty well with that. So now we have that. Any other discussion on the financial report? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the financial report signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposition? All right, excellent. We're moving right along. Since we just did that, Greg, do you want to talk a little bit about the inaugural fundraising that we're doing here, or the fundraising committee, what we're doing, which is the inaugural stuff. So Greg, look here, if you can spotlight Greg, Michael.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's on mute though.
Yeah, unmute yourself, Greg. There you go. Okay, so Greg is wearing our beanie and our sunglass, our aviator glasses, and and he's all decked out to give his report. So if you can keep from laughing, tell us what's going on with fundraising.
Well, I have to say, I just got it like yesterday, and I was wearing it today, and everybody said, "Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that?" So I'm telling them to, of course, go to the website to buy them. But as you can see, we have in this corner, of course, Biden-Harris, and you can see it on the beanie, which you can wear, especially when it gets cold. So as Linda said, we've sold over $7,000 worth, but we have, of course, expenses. But I think if everyone on the committee could become, for 1 week, a member of the fundraising committee, just tell all your friends, because Linda, even after the inauguration, people will want some souvenirs. So I think we can sell our allotted amount all the way to the end of the month. So this is what it looks like. It's being received. And as we said, we sold over 7,000 so far, excluding expenses.
Right.
So that's it.
Yep. And Michael, can I ask you now to spotlight Rochelle?
Sure.
Because Rochelle has, in addition to the swag that Greg is wearing, Rochelle has all of our stuff ready to display for us here. You can see what we can get. There we go. Okay. So Rochelle, you want to hold that stuff up for us and show us what, well, there it is. All right, can you put the shot glass in the front there? There you go. Okay, so we have the shot glass. It says Biden-Harris, 1/20/2021 button with President and Vice President on it, and the sunglasses, the aviator glasses, so you can look cool like Joe Biden, and the beanie that you saw Greg wearing. There it is. Thank you, Rochelle. Rochelle's getting quite good at this. But anyway, if you get the package, which is all of that, it's $49. But then if you look, there's also other, you can also just buy the individual items, not buy, make a contribution and get them. And then in addition to that, we are also doing an inaugural watch party. It's a little bit in flux because the whole inauguration is a little bit in flux. But basically what we're going to do is make it a Montgomery County community come together event that we can experience the inauguration together as a community in Montgomery County. And we're going to be focusing on our county council and our county executive because the federal people are not going to be here. They're going to be actually at the inauguration, and the legislators are going to be busy in Annapolis. So, so I've asked them to join us and make it a community event that, you know, as Laura said, we all worked really hard here in Montgomery County Democrats to get Biden and Harris elected. And so, you know, it would be nice to all come together and, you know, be there for the beginning of, you know, the Biden-Harris administration, because it's so important to the country. With the understanding that, you know, people might have a little bit of an anxiety, but all the more reason not to watch it in your living room by yourself. We're going to have them there. It starts at 11:30. Anybody that bought a package or bought some of these items got information about the watch. And we're going to be getting more information out this week about both the watch and the swag, and encouraging people to participate. And assuming it's a joyful event, we'll have people put on their swag, and, you know, if it gets tense, we may just be praying together. So, you know, but it's still, I think it's worthwhile for everyone to come together and witness this, and hopefully, I'm sure there's going to be a celebration. It starts at 11:30. The speech starts or the inauguration itself starts at 12. And it's not going to be a long event. I mean, we're not going to be there all day. Mainly it's to experience the speech, and, you know, and then afterwards we'll all say goodbye and, you know, thanks, and, you know, it was great. And, you know, now it's time to move forward. So we are going to be sending something out this week on that. So buy the swag, tell your friends to buy the swag, but also sign up for the watch party. Okay. Anything else on that? Lori, yes, what's the most we can net? The most we can net, I don't know the answer to that, Lori, actually. My goal is to net about 6,000, which I think we should be able to do. We've netted almost 4,000 at the moment. So I think that we will be close to that, you know, getting that. It's hard. I mean, we'd have to go back and do all of the big unknown is the shipping costs, right? So the shipping costs are what I don't know, because all the shipping costs are different depending on what people order. So we can figure that out, but it's hard to do it in real time, right? But we know what the swag costs us, and it cost us $3,600 or something like that to buy it. So we're already up. You know, we've already more than covered the cost of that, and the shipping isn't that much because we're trying to do that as cheaply as possible. It costs us between $3 and $4 a package to, now less than that. Some of them are $2 to mail. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. And let me just emphasize that the quality of the stuff, you know, is good. It's American made. To the extent that we could, we got it union printed and union embroidered. The only thing that isn't are the sunglasses, because we just couldn't find anybody to do that. COVID made that a lot harder, but we did do that, and it is really good stuff. I have to say it's better quality than I thought. And the shot glasses in particular are first-rate shot glasses. They're thick, they're really shiny. I mean, they're really good shot glasses. And huh?
They work well.
Yeah, they work well. They measure really well. You know, it makes the drink taste really good. But anyway, so please, you know, tell your friends, and we'll make sure that they get it. And even if they get it after the inauguration, it'll be, you know, it'll be fine. So are there any other questions or comments on that? It's kind of fun too, right? So, okay, good. All right, let me go back to the agenda. Hold on a second. Share it. I have to, so everyone can see it. Okay, so let's move on to the other committee reports. Aaron Kaufman, do you have anything to report from the Issues Committee?
I do not. I told
sorry.
Pam too late, but I have no report.
Okay, I didn't know whether
You and
did
I
or
should
not.
talk offline though.
Yeah,
at some
we
point,
will,
Linda.
we will. Let's do that maybe tomorrow, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so the issues committee report, we don't have the precinct organization, Shruti, review, approve list. Do we have an approved list?
No, we just have a review list and there are 2 names on the review list.
Okay, I have
One
it.
is
Let
from
me,
District.
hold on a second. I have it. I'll go find it and you can continue to talk, okay? Go ahead,
Sure.
you go. I'll find it. I got it.
Okay,
you go ahead.
so the review list has 2 names on it. One of them is from District 15, Geneva Brooks, who's a returning precinct leader. She's the one that I mentioned at the last meeting, but since I didn't circulate it, her name is on the review list. And the other one is Corey Hartwich, and he is a resident of District 18. There's a vacancy for vice chair in that, and he's applied for that.
And Corey is here at the meeting. Corey is attending the meeting. Welcome, Corey. Okay, so I will now accept a motion to approve the review list.
I motion
Okay.
to approve the review list.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Is there a second?
Rodich, second.
Okay, Lori Rodich seconds. All right, all in favor of approving the review, or any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Quick question. Yeah. So in the last meeting, I think that, maybe I just need to clarify with Trudy. In the last meeting, there was a mention of a name, even though we didn't have the name in front of us, but we approved that person.
No, I asked for approval. That was Geneva Brooks, and I had asked for permission if I could send the information and we could review it before this meeting for it to be approved at this meeting.
Right.
But since I did not get around, since it wasn't circulated in enough time, I just put the name on the review list.
Yeah, but I think we voted on it, so that really, that person should be on the approved list, really. But that's just my thought. That's fine, whichever way you want to go.
All right, let's hold that.
So,
Linda,
Hold on a second. Let's hold that thought. Shruti, did you want to respond to that?
yeah, I mean, I would really appreciate if it's okay, I can edit this and send it while we are at the meeting. But because Geneva is a returning precinct leader, she resigned not too long ago because they moved and then they came back. So if the central committee members don't mind approving her name at this list, it would be very heartening. So I would leave that up to you to decide.
Okay, well, let's take care of this and then we'll do that. Erwin.
yeah, I just want to mention that I worked with Corey many years ago on the Silver Spring Citizens Advisory Board. And then more recently, he was an active member of our Ballot Questions Advisory Committee this year. And he was a very strong, positive presence on both of those committees with which I worked with him. So I'm excited about him joining our precinct organization.
Great. That's terrific. Terrific news. Okay, so let's.
And I want to second that as well. This is Daniel.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, welcome, Corey. The bar's getting set pretty high here for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Lori had something to say.
Go ahead, Lori.
Yeah, I also wanted to say I worked with Corey on the, on the ballot questions, but he's also a very active member of the Labor Advisory Committee.
Yes, he is.
It's going to be a great precinct.
Yes. All right, great. Thank you. Okay, so let's, we have a motion to approve the review list. Let's approve the review list, and then we'll take up the issue that Moomin raised. Okay, so all in favor of approving the review list signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposition? Hearing none. Okay, let's go back to Moomin's point about Geneva Brooks, that she was brought up at the last meeting. You heard Shruti's explanation. You heard the fact that she is a returning precinct chair. I would be willing to entertain a motion to put her on the approved list and then approve her as an approved precinct leader. Is there a motion to that effect?
I move to
This is
approve.
Pam, so moved.
Okay, and this is Greg, then second.
Okay, Pam moved, Greg second. Any further discussion on Geneva Brooks being approved? Hearing none, all those.
Hey, Linda, that was
Samantha.
actually Sam. That was.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
Sam, not Pam.
I thought it was Pam.
I would
Sounded
be.
like Pam.
I'm honored that you thought that I was Pam.
And
That's
equally
a step up for
so.
me.
Equally so.
All right. We all love each other. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I don't always hear the voices correctly. Okay. So it was seconded. It was moved by Samantha Jones. It was seconded by Greg Wins. Is there any further discussion on Geneva Brooks? All right. Hearing none. All in favor of approving Geneva Brooks as putting her on the approved list and then approving the approved list signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, thank you. Okay, next, let me see what's next on the agenda. Next on the agenda, we have old business. Does anybody have any old business that they would like to bring up at this time? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to move to new business. New business, this is really kind of old business, but we haven't done much with it. So I want to talk a little bit again about this notion of us having issue town halls and issue committees or focus groups or whatever we want to call them of people to work on issues as, both as the Biden administration moves forward and also, on, just on a broader, local and state level. So I did get some expressions of interest of being involved in this. And I do want to encourage people who are interested to send me an email and tell me that you are interested in participating in this. I envision that we will, bring together a group of us plus, some other, activists in the beginning. It'll be a smaller group and then expand it out. I think the first thing that we have to do is kind of look at and see what it is we're interested in working on. I know Erwin has a lot of ideas about that. He's one person that has some ideas, and I want to hear other people's ideas as well. So within the next 2 weeks, I'm going to call a meeting where we're going to be talking about about setting this up and getting this initiative going and what issues we're going to look at. The whole, there's a twofold goal here. One is to actually, we're at the beginning of a new administration. We're going into, we're in between election cycles. We're in the middle of a legislative session. It's a good time to be talking about issues and things that, that are important besides just campaigns. So that's the idea of this. And again, let me know if you're interested. I'll be calling a meeting within the next couple of weeks. And then the second thing I want to mention under new business, and I know Lori has some new business she wants to bring up too. So I'll be brief about this second point. The second point is the Maryland Democratic Party has asked the central committees, each of the central committees, to come up with a 2-year strategic plan. Like, we were ahead of our time, right? We already did that the last 2 years, but we have to, they're asking us to come up with a 2-year strategic plan with some goals for mainly for going into the 2022 election. So I really need a committee to help me with that as well. I don't think it's going to be a really heavy lift. It's not going to have to be as intensive as we did at the beginning. We can take our strategic plan and update it, modify it, because we spent a lot of time, going into the details and reviewing all the work that the Central Committee does. I already told Michael Baird that we had done one and that we probably would be updating what we did. And he's perfectly fine with that. He thinks that's a great idea. So I do need a committee to help me with that. It shouldn't just be me. It needs to be, we need to have more input. The deadline for that is March 15th. That's when we have to have it finished. So again, I think we have a leg up because we did so much work, but I really would like some help with that. I'm not necessarily going to call on you at the meeting here, although I'll take volunteers at this meeting. but I am going to be hounding you again in the next couple of weeks so that we can get moving on this. I don't think that this is going to be, it's certainly not going to be as time consuming as the last one we did, because as I said, we have a good base. So, anybody that's interested in serving on that committee, please let me know. We really do, really would be good to get started on it so that we can get it, we can get the ball rolling there. Plus, we have to think about too, what are we doing for the 2022 election? We have a lot of good programs, the voter engagement, the volunteer engagement program, the phone banks, the volunteer network, all of those things we can include for 2022 if we want to continue to do those. So please let me know about that. Any questions about either of those? I hope to hear from you. Okay, Lori.
Yeah,
what do you want to bring up?
Yeah, I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but I was wondering if it's possible for us to take a vote and support the congressional Democrats in their efforts to impeach President Trump.
Well, that's interesting. Our county council did do that today. They did adopt a motion. I just saw it. I didn't read it, but I don't know if Dave Kuhns is still on. He might know. Pam, do you know what they did? Do you know the
Linda,
details?
I was actually involved in something else during that segment, but I could find out and.
Well, it's out there. I just wondered
Yeah.
if you knew. Dave left, so I don't know. But anyway, I think that might be appropriate. Are we? Do we want to do that?
I do.
You do? All right. Do you want?
I do.
Do you want to make a motion? Do you want to make?
Can somebody else make the motion? I'm not good at thinking on my feet like that. But I'll second whatever somebody comes up with that's reasonable.
Okay.
Let me
Aaron,
give
do
it a
you-
try. I'll try.
Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Okay. I move that the Montgomery County Democratic Central Committee formally take the position that President Trump should be impeached for incitement of insurrection as charges have been presented by the U.S. House of Representatives against him. Period.
All right. And so Joe Gephardt is moving that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Lori Rodich. Is there discussion?
Joe, would you just repeat that slowly one more time?
It's just a resolution, right?
Yeah.
It's a resolution.
So I move that the Montgomery County Democratic Central Committee take the position that President Trump should be impeached for incitement of insurrection as charged by the U.S. House of Representatives. Period.
I have one friendly amendment.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I don't think the House of Representatives as a whole has approved the articles yet, right? It's just been introduced. Is that correct?
Yeah, okay, so by members
correct.
of. By
Members of, yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Erwin. Great catch.
And then I have a question for clarification.
Sure.
Would we want to say that we would like him to be impeached expeditiously, or would we just want to say impeached, given that we all know that there is discussion, on the part of some, Clyburn and others have said we may need to wait past the first 100 days. Do we want to take a position on putting that word expeditious in?
Joe, would you consider that a friendly amendment?
No, I think we should leave it a little bit vague so that the Democratic Party leaders, including our Congressman Jamie Raskin,
Can figure it out. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
No, I would just say our Congressman Jamie Raskin and David Trone in Sarbanes. Just want to add all three of them since we have them.
Right. Although Jamie is taking the lead on this.
Linda, we could ask that this resolution be given or presented to our three congressmen.
Well, let's adopt it and then we'll we'll talk about how we transmit it.
Okay, yes.
But I think
Hey,
that's a
Linda?
good thought. I think that's a good thought. Yes, who's asking?
Scott,
Go ahead, Scott.
Joe, would you consider adding on to your very well thought out for on the fly resolution to include interfering with the Georgia election?
I don't think that's the central focus of the impeachment resolution that's being presented now. So I think it's cleaner if we just say incitement of insurrection.
You're
I
the
do
new
think
guy
it's
just trying to get in a good hazing.
good lick, huh? Yeah. Well, they didn't make it, they made it kind of a part of the background discussion, but not part of the resolution that I saw on the internet. So an incitement, you know what this means? Incitement, let me just explain. The incitement of insurrection goes to Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which bars people who insurrect against the U.S. government from ever holding office. You know, that was a provision of the 14th Amendment, which is better known for equal protection and due process extended to the states and voting rights. This one said, hey, you know, the Confederate soldiers and officers and government officials cannot hold office in the future because they were involved in an insurrection. That's where this word insurrection is coming from. So it's being aimed right now at Trump. Okay, but it's probably being indirectly aimed at Hawley and others for down the line. That's all I have.
Okay, Scott, did you have something else that you wanted to add, or was that your hand raised from before?
From before.
Okay. All right, anybody else have any?
Yeah, Linda, moment here.
Yeah, go,
Quick. Do we want to say that we join our elected officials? Since already the council has done it, or do we want to not go there? In other words, you want to say that Montgomery County Democrat joins elected officials, and then whatever else we want to say.
So I think Moomin's point is, do we want to say that we're joining in with the
Our elected
with the
officials.
county council? Yeah, basically.
I think I would say that there's pros and cons to that, but you know, we are an entity, a strong entity on our own, and personally I wouldn't, but there's pros and cons, but I think we don't have to just join others. We have a strong feeling ourselves as a central committee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And the other thing is that, you know, hopefully there'll be other groups in Montgomery County that do this, and maybe our legislators will do it, right? And, you know. Okay, any further discussion on this resolution? Erwin, you got it, right?
Yes.
Do you want to, do we need to read it back? Probably not, right? We got it. We know what it is.
Would you like me to?
Yeah, why don't you just read it back?
Yes.
Okay. The motion that I have is, as Joe expressed it the second time, which is that the Montgomery County Democratic Central Committee take the position that President Trump should be impeached for incitement of insurrection as charged by members of the U.S. House of Representatives. And probably want to edit that a little bit, probably. It should be Montgomery County Democratic Central Committee. Do you want to leave it like that? Takes the position?
I like that.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, everybody know what we're voting on? All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
I was on mute. Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, let the record reflect that it was unanimous. It was adopted unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Lori, for bringing it up. Thank you, Joe, for crafting that resolution. I'm glad that we
I
did
want
that.
to do a press release for something like that. It might get picked up with SB or something.
That's true. We should do a press release. Michael and I can work on
Nugo's
that, right,
blog
Michael?
Or something like that.
Just for the record, I didn't have a second on that. I have that Lori.
It was seconded by Lori.
I had that Lori proposed the idea, but then she seconded the motion.
No,
Okay.
Joe made the motion, Lori seconded it.
Yeah, but she proposed the idea. I'll note that in the minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, I can second it if you need another second.
No, we got it.
It doesn't
Happy
matter.
Lori
Yeah,
has a second.
we're
Thanks
good.
a lot.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll work on a press release. I think that's a good idea.
What about transmittal, Linda?
Yes, that's right. So Joe, you suggested that we transmit it to our congressional delegation.
Our 3 congressional delegates or
And then
representatives.
and the 2 senators.
I would say, the 2 senators and the county exec, county council president, Senator Zucker and Delegate Corman for the 2 delegations.
Okay, so if it's okay with everybody, here's what I think I'll do. I think I will address, we'll transmit it to everybody, but I'll address a brief cover note to the congressional representatives and the senators, okay? And I will copy the other people, all right? Does that make sense? Everybody will get the resolution, but the cover note will be to the congressional representatives because they're the ones who can act on it, right? So that's the way I'll do that, and I'll get that out tomorrow. If that should be good with everyone, right? Okay. Does that sound good?
Yeah, one more suggestion. If you're doing CCs, why don't you CC Steny Hoyer? He's from Maryland. He's a leader.
It's true.
He knows about us.
True. Okay. Okay, good idea. All right. Anything else on this? Excellent, thank you. And Aaron points out that the House is voting tomorrow. Yes, I know. So
if I were you, I mean, I'm not the chair, so I think we should double your salary and hopefully you'll burn the midnight oil tonight.
or maybe I'll get up early and do it. How about that? They're not going to take it.
Double her salary.
They're not going to take it up at 9 a.m. So I'll have it done. Let me put it this way. I'll have it done by 9 a.m. How's that?
That's good.
We'll triple your salary if you for that.
Oh my God. Okay.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Second. Anyway, okay. All right, good. Oh, and Scott points out that Jamie was named the lead impeachment manager. I'm not surprised. I hope everybody saw him, slam Jim Jordan to the mat today. I mean, he just took that guy, slammed him to the mat, pinned him, and then it was, the match was over.
What did he say? I didn't hear.
Oh, Jordan was, going on about how, it's time to come together, and this isn't right to do this, and you've been after this president since he was elected. And Jamie basically, went through a lot of things, but ended up by saying, if you're not going to oppose him on this, you're not going to oppose him on anything, and then everybody piled on and tried to get Jordan to back off and admit that, Biden had won the election and that there was no fraud. And of course he would never do that, but Jamie just really led the charge. And, it made me very proud for him to be, from Montgomery County and to be, our representative. It's just, he just did a terrific job. To my Ohio relatives, I was calling him the superhero because they were complaining about Jim Jordan. And I said, don't worry, superhero Jamie Raskin just slammed Jim GYM Jordan to the mat, right? And they were all like, yeah, that guy's amazing. So anyway, he just did a great job, and he did a great job drafting it and leading it, especially with everything he's been through.
I know.
Yeah, terrible. So anyway, thank you for that. I'm going to move now to announcements. And that's kind of a segue to say that, we did express our condolences to the Raskin family. As I indicated, we made a $100 contribution to the Tommy Raskin Fund that was set up, as I indicated we would do. I know many of you contributed to the family itself. during their Shiva period and help them, let them know that you were thinking of them. And that was all wonderful. It's a terrible situation, but I have to say that I do think the Raskin family has done a wonderful job memorializing their son and brother and letting the world know what a great guy he was. So, I know it makes all of us love Jamie even more, but it is a very, very sad thing that happened there.
Linda, can I just say something briefly?
Sure, Aaron, go.
I also think, as sad as it was and as difficult a decision as it was to probably go forward with how Tommy died, they are going to prevent other people from committing suicide because they're going to call the suicide hotline, etc., or get a psychiatric appointment or something. So they're going to save other lives by going public.
I think you're right, Aaron. And I know that when it was reported on the news, when they made this statement about, they made that heartfelt, beautiful statement about Tommy Raskin and went through all of that and then talked in the end, very poignantly about how, he had gone through depression and then he took his own life. Every single one of the news outlets at the end of that said, here's the suicide hotline. So many people go through this and they need to get help. I mean, that point was not lost on all of the reporting that was done out there. And I think you're absolutely right. And it's so typical of them that's how they turn their grief, right, is into that. So anyway, thanks for that. So moving on to other announcements, everyone knows that Jasmine has resigned from this committee. Unfortunately, you saw her letter. I think she just has other priorities that she has to pay attention to, and COVID has made that more difficult for her. I just want to say that she did great work for this committee. The volunteer engagement sessions that she and Marie conducted for an entire year during the election year were fantastic. And, those sessions and their work was responsible for us gathering, literally thousands of volunteers to work on, the campaign. And that's amazing. And if you attended any of those sessions, you can feel even online the excitement that people had being there and being a part of that. So Jasmine will be missed. And she was really, she really did a great job on that. And we really thank her for everything that she brought to this group. So we will announce her vacancy in the upcoming Friday newsletter. And we will take applications to fill that vacancy with a member from District 18 who identifies as female through February 5th. And then we will take it up at our February meeting. We will take up the filling of the vacancy. Okay. I think that is all I have. Is there anything else anyone has that they want to bring before the Central Committee tonight? I can't believe it. This is like our shortest meeting we ever had.
I know.
Yeah. So, okay.
Linda, do you want me to make my speech now?
What?
You want me to make my speech now?
What speech? Oh, the speech you had prepared? I'll tell you what, Joe, let us finish up this business.
No.
And then you can give your speech. So hearing nothing else except Joe wants to give his speech.
No, I don't.
I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Moving.
Second, Greg.
Second, Greg. Okay. It's non-debatable motion. Okay. All in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? No. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Good
Bye,
night.
Slag. We'll
Good
see
night.
you at
Good night.
inauguration. Thank
Joe,
you.
I know your speech was Joe, I know your speech was awesome.
I know. Yeah, you're the best, Joe.
I just missed that.
Joe,
We should have a
it's
Zoom
on
meeting.
Facebook.
We should have a
Welcome back,
Zoom
Joe.
meeting. I'll give it. Okay.
We're glad to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, my partner,
Congrats.
Mimi. All right.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Joe,
Congrats, Joe.
Yeah,
Joe, I
thank
was going to say, Phil, because I'm sure your speech is interesting, feel free to send us any highlights from it in an email if you want.
No, that's okay.
And here's
She's
the
gonna-
thing, Joe, Laura really means that.
He's gonna do a press release by tomorrow morning.
By 9.
Let's put
By
the focus
9.
on impeachment. Let's get rid of that
Yeah.
guy. Good. Get him convicted.
All
Night,
right.
everybody.
Okay,
Great.
good night.
Night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.